So why adopt an outcome-driven innovation program? What we're trying to do here is make a huge change. We're trying to go from 70 to 90% failure rates to 70 to 90% success rates. Again, this isn't going to happen by tweaking the current approach. We're not going to tweak voice of the customer and do more ethnographic studies and this is going to turn out better. That's not what's going on here. There's something inherently wrong with the innovation process, and it goes back to two things. The sequence in which it's being executed, which is usually idea first and then testing with customers, and then the wrong inputs are being used. The inputs have never even been defined, right? By correcting those two issues, can we get it to 70 to 90%? Sure. I mean, that makes all the difference in the world. It's just like the manufacturing process. If you were executing it in the wrong sequence with the wrong inputs, would you be getting a huge backlash and chaos? Certainly. So let's get that part right. The other point I want to make here is that there's certainly a lot of other issues that are driven by these inputs. How do you position a product? Well, if you knew the actual customer's unmet needs, could you do a better job of positioning? You bet you could. Could you do a better job of segmentation? By segmenting using this approach, you see far better results. Purpose brand. Clayton Christian wrote a nice article on that, talking about making the job the purpose brand. Companies like Milwaukee have a product such as Sawzall. It's in the reciprocating saw market. Anyone want to speculate as to what Sawzall does? And that's the whole point, right? It saws everything, and that's the idea. If you can connect the name of the product to the job that you're trying to get done, he says that's a very powerful use of this information. It's used for pipeline prioritization. When we were working with Cordis Corporation back in the 90s, and we found that minimizing restenosis was the key opportunity in their market for angioplasty balloons. They said, well, we have this device called the stent that we're working on along with 30 other projects. Maybe we should take some resources and put that on the stent and get that out to market first, which they did, by the way. And that became $1 billion business in less than 2 years. And that's what propelled them into a candidate for purchase from J&J as well. It can be used for patent portfolio development. Think about the possibilities of patenting things at the job level, at the outcome level, as opposed to at the technical design level. We got a few good examples of that. And in terms of setting R&D direction, if there's a certain outcome that you put in front of your organization and you can't figure out how to satisfy it, we want to figure out how to increase the percent of plants that emerge at the same time. If no one can think of it that day, that week, that year, put that in product and R&D and say, if you ever come up with a solution, if you ever find a technology that will help us increase the percent of plants that emerge at the same time, can you please tell us? Because that would be very important to us. And it starts setting direction for them to focus on things that will create value for the customer, because that job's not going away. That job's stable over time. Those metrics are still in place. So now it sets some long-term direction. So in terms of overall terms, what makes this powerful? One is the process is organized and executed in the correct sequence, in a sequence that ensures success. Innovation doesn't begin with an idea. It begins with understanding the job the customer's trying to get done and all their unmet needs. These customer inputs are precisely defined and standardized. We know what a need is. And this goes back to Marketing 101. If you're trying to understand all the customer's needs, figure out which are unmet, and then find solutions, if we don't know what a need is, we can't execute the process, and that's the state that most companies operate in today. The inputs are prioritized with precision using that opportunity algorithm. Idea generation is sequenced and focused. So if we just want to focus on new platforms, we can do that. If we want features for existing platforms, we can do that. And the inputs drive cross-functional strategies. So this impacts not just better product ideas, but how you position them, how you sell them, how you brand them, every other aspect of your organization. So all in all, innovation becomes a lean, linear, and predictable process. And so that's our message.
Learn more about outcome-driven innovation and how Strategyn can help your organization create a market growth strategy. Visit us on the web at www.strategyn.com. Information on educational offerings can be seen at www.strategyninstitute.com.